Are we going to waffle on about? I guess we're not going to waffle on about some stuff.
Nope.
I like how it gives me that box. It says like, oh, we're recording. Like, thanks. I heard you say it already. We're going to waffle on because that's how we do things here. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to episode 20 of the second season of the Designated Players Podcast. We're coming back with the second half of best player, most impressive player, and least impressive player. We did half of them last week. If you watched the video on YouTube, you saw more than half because I definitely didn't edit those out. So you guys got a sneak peek of stuff that's probably going to be on this episode, way Connor cuts it up. But we have, I think it was 10 teams left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
12.
6, 7, 8, 9. I've got 10.
All right, maybe it's
11, 12. I got 12. I can count.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, okay. You can't count.
Listen, I haven't worked in 4 days. My brain's not.
They don't teach that at Alfred. They don't teach counting.
They don't. They teach letters. Can you solve this differential equation? Nope. But I'm gonna pass anyway. Yeah, it's the same thing. If you guys don't know what we're doing here, it's pretty simple. We've reached just about the halfway point of the 2021 MLS season, and we're gonna highlight basically who we think is the best player on each team from the first half, the most impressive. A lot of times that'll overlap if you're a certain person. That'd be me. And then we're also going to go ahead and hit some least impressive players. There are some players there that we all thought were going to be really good and have been really not good. So it's that simple. Shouldn't take too long now that we've only got about half the teams left. Connor.
Yeah.
What are you rocking for scarf of the week today?
Well, let me check because I want to confirm before I say it.
Oh, goodness.
Got to make sure it's right. It's not, but I am rocking the Western Conference's newest playoff contender.
Stop it.
And my bold prediction on its way to becoming true.
Ryan Gauld.
Vancouver Allianz.
Ryan Gauld, great signing. He's been blowing up for them this year in his first few games. Brian White, GOAT, does not miss. I am actually rocking something that has not been seen much on this podcast, even from when we started it, because this has been hanging up in my office at work for the last about year and a half. But I am changing jobs next week, so I've cleaned out the majority of my decorations and such, and that is it's just, I think it's like my second or third scarf I ever got. I think it was a Christmas gift, and I really like it. It's really simple, nice fabric, nice design, and it doesn't have the crest that meets in the middle, but it does have the one on the end. So I'm a fan of it.
Imagine having a scarf of a team that's worse. It's like the Brian White derby right here.
The Brian.
That's
White.
What it is with our scarves.
That's good. I'm just looking at this MLS transfers tweet before we kick off, and U.S. fans better thank FC Dallas for developing all these players at the expense of their overall club performance. Hello, MLS transfers. What are the Red Bulls doing right now? Sacrifice for the country. You're welcome.
You guys just sacrifice for your own Red Bull teams. That's all it is.
Well, the Red Bull says we have to, and when the Red Bull says we listen. That's all. You wouldn't get it. You're not owned by
No, I don't have a system.
Corporation. Loser.
I mean, technically Atlanta's owned by Home Depot. So
tools. You're
literally
a bunch of tools.
I mean, that's kind of what Home Depot does.
Kinda. It also does electronics and wood and stuff. And trees. All right. Before we continue on any farther. You ready to play guess that team?
Oh yeah, I've been preparing. I got your screen up on my screen.
Good. All right. So you know that if I told you we're going to the bottom half of the Western Conference, you're all ready to pick it out.
To be honest with you, I don't even know if I remember what teams we picked last time.
That's all right.
Well, I know this team we haven't done yet, and they are bottom half of the Western Conference. The
Wrong.
Houston Dynamo.
Correct. It is a Houston Dynamo. They are so far last. It's ridiculous. Definitely missed that one. But they're going to turn around. Second half of the season, they'll turn around. They'll push up higher.
They're a second half team.
They are. I'll start because I'm ready. My most impressive player, Tyler Pascher from USL side to a breakout first half of the year. And it's very tough to pick players who are good on a team that's this bad. But we'll also have that same issue when it comes to Red Bull anyway. So, yeah, the Tyler Pascher came on the scene as just a depth signing. It felt like when we were reviewing things like that last off season, and all of a sudden he's blown up out of nowhere and become one of the team's better players. A team that now I'm looking at their last 6 games, 1 point in their last 6 games. So I hear you. But Tyler Pascher on Who Scored is rated their second best player out of their entire side. So I'll give him that. Best player for me. Oh, I'll go Maxi Rudy. Tied for the lead in goals right now. Has picked up pretty well without the presence of Christian Ramirez, who has since departed for greener pastures. Get it? It's a Scotland joke.
It made more sense if it was Ireland because they actually are green.
Well, it would have been even funnier if it was Greenland, but they don't have a team, so. Huh.
Well, I didn't say Greenland.
I did. Oh, good. We're getting toxic today. I like it. 6 goals in just over 1,500 minutes with an assist. Fafa Pico gets a shout for having 6 and 3 and a little bit more time. But yeah, I'll say Rudy's picked up the slack. I think they knew he was going to do that, but he very easily could have flopped out of that. So good on him. And then my least impressive player, and I really wish Adam were here for this, but Darwin Quintero has not even had a start this season on a team that is dead last in the West. That's not good. That is something that you would think, oh man, this team needs some help. Obviously, they need more help defensively than attacking, right? But can't even get a start. That's not good. So those are my 3.
I think you did a pretty good job. Good job, buddy.
I know I'm pretty good at what I do.
I agree. Pascher is definitely the most impressive coming from USL into MLS. A jump that I think many people would be questioning as to whether or not that talent would translate, and he's really shown that it can. I think it's a great example of what's capable for MLS teams to, get talent from these lower leagues. I think he shows that there are guys that can have an impact in this league that you can get for a cheap option in USL and NASL, whatever league. And for best player for me, I'm gonna go Fafa Pico. I know you went Maxi. Maxi is also a good shout. Both of them tied with 6 goals. Fafa just has the 2 assists over him, so I'm just gonna give him the nod there. And then most disappointing, I do agree with you, Darwin. I mean, even though he's getting up there at 33, he was still so influential for them last year, even though they weren't great. Like, he was still very solid. I mean, he was their best player last year, I would say.
Yeah.
And now he can't even get a start. I mean, he's got 190 minutes the entire season. Like, that's wild. It's crazy. I mean, this guy has so much talent. It doesn't matter if he's 33. I mean, he's only 1 year out from having a good season. Also, looking at this Who Scored list, doesn't seem like Tim Parker's had a very strong season either.
All right, listen, we don't need to talk about that, okay? That's
No,
not.
no, I'm not picking him. I'm going to stick with Darwin, but I'm just saying. Tim's got a 6.3 and 22 starts.
Sure, but who else? Who's he playing next to and in front of? He's playing in front of Marco Maric, one of the worst goalkeepers in the league, by personal choice only. I don't like him. He's got Zarek Valentin next to him. Maynard Figueroa's got 6 starts. Junqua, I don't even see who his other center back partner would be. Teenage Habaji or Hadabi. So he's getting a partnership together, like he did with Aaron Long. He'll be fine. Don't worry about it. But just another note on Pascher before we move on, right? He has been hurt recently, so he doesn't have as many appearances in the last month or so. But his performance has earned him a call up into the Canadian national team, right? So going from USL to playing for your country, that's the type of jump we're talking about. We talk about impressive in this segment.
Yeah, a country that's talented too. It's not an easy country. You can just walk right into the team. Like you gotta.
I mean, they're not USA talented, but like.
No, I mean what country is really, honestly.
Fact. I mean, when you got a coach who can bring in Jordan Lewis, who doesn't even play for Colorado and still win 2 trophies, bruh.
Jordan Lewis, Jackson Ewell, and still win trophies.
And play Kelvin Costa out of position.
He's just honestly, Greg's just stunting on every other team. He's like, I don't need to bring in the players. Like, let me show you what I could do with the bad players. I can't even start in MLS.
It's actually terrifying. That's probably something that we can flex. Oh gosh. Okay, let's move on before we go into a tangent that we can't get out of. Top half of the East. It's a good one. Nashville. Yep, you're 2 for 2.
Let's go. It's because I got the screen up.
I know you hacked me, but that's all right.
All right, so is it my turn to start off?
Are you excited? Don't be nervous.
I am excited because Nashville's such a fun team.
They are.
All right, so best player, unquestionable, Hani Mukhtar. MVP type season so far from him. He's been phenomenal. Most impressive is tough for me. I'm kind of between 2 guys. I would say Hani's definitely in the running for that. There were definitely, some level of expectation for him, but he's definitely outdone that by far. I mean, he's had such a phenomenal season. But CJ Sapong deserves to be in this conversation as well. He has 9 goals so far for them and is leading the team in scoring with 3 assists. I certainly would not have seen that coming into the season, considering they have Yonder Cadiz on the team. I think he's managed to knock out Yonder Cadiz and is now the starting striker, which is wild to me. I think just for the purpose of having some differentiation, I'll go CJ Sapong here. And then Hani as the best. And then the most disappointing, I mean, kind of just mentioned it, Yonder Cadiz. This was your big name striker that you brought in. This is the guy that a lot of people were expecting to take over and really like. He was the last piece to the Nashville puzzle, it felt like, because they were very good defensively. They had just a very sound team. They were just missing goals. So they brought in Yonder Cadiz and everybody was like, this is the guy. This is where they take that final step. They have their goal scorer now, except that he now is replaced by CJ Sapong and is relegated to the bench with 6 starts and 8 sub appearances this year. He's got 2 goals in 544 minutes. I just think, while certainly he hasn't had the worst season out of everybody we've picked on the least impressive list, it just was well below the expectations that I think a lot of us had set for him at the start of the season.
I can't believe how wrong you actually are. That's really. It's quite clear that the best player is a tie between Alex and Dax.
I knew that was coming as soon as you said that.
The least impressive is everybody else because they aren't Alex Mawil or Dax McCarty. No. So I do have some different picks though. So I'll say I have some different picks. I'll say Hani Mukhtar is definitely their best player, and I'll give CJ Sapong the nod for most impressive. CJ Sapong went from having 2 goals last season to 9 in half the season this year. Granted, he did have 13 in 2019 when he had a full season with the Fire, but yeah, this is some next level stuff. He came in, Nashville signed 2 different like top level international strikers, and then just picked up this American dude from the side and was like, go score a bunch of goals. But no, I'm gonna go with a different. So the other person that I would mention in the most impressive is Jack Mayer, number 2 overall pick in their first year, showed up to his house. One of the most disturbing things I've ever seen in my life.
I still
But
remember
he
that.
stepped in.
That's so good.
That is still so good. That is peak MLS supporter.
Peak MLS.
Oh my God. Like if we went back like in 10 years, it was like, let's pick up like 10 most defining moments in MLS history. Showing up to a super draft picks house who was getting immediately shipped to your USL team just to support him as he got drafted number 2 overall is peak MLS.
Doxing the number 2 pick is right there on the list.
I don't think I saw any blur or anything. So if you pause that, you probably could find out the house number he lived at.
Easily.
Bro, that family, if he had a bad showing, and like they were in a bad area, that family's in trouble. But no, 9 starts and a sub appearance with a goal and assist, and has stood really well. Has not put a step wrong. So I'll switch just for variety. I'll switch mine. I'll put Jack Mayer as one of my most impressive. I think he's had a really good season. When Zimmerman was hurt, filling in, and kind of made it his own. Most disappointing on the other side of the forward conversation, and you might not even know this, Ake Loba. You know who that is?
Yeah, the name sounds kind of familiar.
He is their record signing. They spent like, oh gosh, how much did they sign him for? Hold on. So he was a striker for Monterey. They bought him for $6.8 million. They went more than double of what they spent for Hani Mukhtar, which was $3 million. He has made 1 start and 7 sub appearances. That man is a $7 million player and cannot knock CJ Sapong out of the starting lineup. How unreal is that?
Yeah, that's honestly, I totally forgot about him. So that's a really good shout.
That's how you know when you're disappointing, you forget who people are.
That's definitely over Yonder Cadiz easily. So yeah, I agree with you on that.
$7 million, and the man just
that's got to be like top 10 most expensive all time in the league. No,
I don't know if it's top 10. It's definitely top 20 though.
I'll look that up. You can finish your conversation.
No, that was all I had. I think he just has been really bad. Well, not bad. I think CJ Sapong has been really good. So I think if you put him in, he'll be fine. But he still doesn't have a goal. I mean, he's only had less than 2 games worth of minutes. But that is my thought.
Okay, hold on. I'm pulling it up right now. I got to filter this because it was doing both arrivals and departures. He's 24. 24th most expensive signing.
Really?
Yeah, apparently there's a lot of other guys.
Yeah, Matritsu was 7 mil. Goodness me. And this is in euros. So it's Matthias Pellegrini, 7.35 million euros. And he's playing in the USL. That's
yeah. Brian Fernandez is 10 million.
Yeah, and he would have been really good too if he could stay off the illicit.
Stay out of trouble.
Yes.
Jermaine Defoe was 10 million also. Oof.
Yikes. Yeah, so he's definitely up there, but all right.
It's a good shout. Really good shout.
Yeah, I know. I'm really good at what I do.
All right. Well, I'm not going to compliment you anymore.
Bottom half of the East.
Oh, well, I'm going to guess Chicago Fire.
Incorrect. I think we've done. No, we didn't do Chicago already. Inter Miami. Close, but no start. Yeah, this was funny to me. Let's do that. I am in terms of best player versus most influential. Robbie Robinson has earned himself a call to the Chilean national team. Maybe one of the weirdest things I've ever said in my life, but it's happened. Didn't know he had that, but he definitely wouldn't make it into the American team. He's just too far down the depth chart, so I don't blame him for making that move. Gregory has also been one of the better performers since he's shown up. Excuse me. I'm going to go best player. Excuse me, sorry.
Say it. I know you don't want to say it. Say it.
Sorry.
You know who their best player has been.
No, my best player is going to be Gregory. I think all around he's been the player that they thought Blaise Matuidi was going to be. Most surprising, Gonzalo Iguana. 8 goals, 4 assists, coming off a year where he was just bang average. And I think what's even more surprising than of that is that he does that, and then I mean they're mostly penalties. I'm pretty sure. I'll double check here real quick. But then he'll do that, and then there are times he'll come around and just be like, "I'm gonna watch this play out and just not run anymore." So cool, have fun. So he is, yeah. So he's big on the penalties, which is great. Good for him. Happy for him. But no, he has come in and had a better season than what we expected. Not helping them get as when he scores, he helps them get results. In games that he scores, 1, 2, 3, 4 wins and 2 losses. So but when he doesn't, they are just abysmal. So he's their most influential player by far in terms of results. But they've also been playing really well these past couple games. So last 5 games, 1, 2, 3 wins, a loss, and a draw. That's kind of not cool. Not a fan of that. But anyways, I will put him as the most surprising player because in a team of just really bad, he's been better than I thought he would be. And then my least impressive player, I'm going with Kelvin Leardum. When he signed from Seattle, I was really hyped. I thought he was going to be a really good addition, and he just has not done anything to help the back line do anything important. So yeah, I'm going to put him as my least influential player.
Fair enough.
Yeah, sorry, that was a lot of thinking on the top of my head because
it's okay.
I had to change a bunch of things here because I didn't want to put Iguain, but kind of had to, didn't I?
Yeah, I mean, I'd make the argument, and I'm going to make that my picks is I think Iguain is probably he's probably been their best player and probably their most impressive in my opinion. I would say Gregory's a close shout for second best, but I mean, I know Who Scored has 8 and 4. I looked up MLS.com. He's got 8 goals, 5 assists this season. So goals plus assist wise, he's like towards the top of the table in the entire league. And he's done all that while, like you said, he's just kind of been almost not even putting in full effort. So I think the potential's there for him if he actually wanted to try to like actually be a really solid player in this league. But regardless, I think and I think that kind of says something about Inter Miami that he's been their best player all season. It obviously has not been a very strong season for them.
Right.
Despite the fact that they're starting to turn things around, but it seems like they're starting to distance themselves from that whole disaster of like 5 designated players that they had last year. And ever since they started to do that, they started to play a bit better. So I would say Iguain for both of those. And the most disappointing, I really want to say Pizarro, but I'm not going to.
I wouldn't argue with you.
I know. I think, what was it, last game he got 2 goals. I think before that point he had 1 goal and 10 starts or I guess 9 starts and 5 sub appearances. That's pretty, for the level of player that we expected him to be, that's pretty bad. I'm not gonna go with him though. I'm gonna go with Ryan Shawcross.
Okay.
And I know we didn't probably have super high expectations for him at the start of the season.
Right.
But he is sitting here with 9 starts, 3 sub appearances, and a 6.17 rating. That is the 4th lowest rating and it's the lowest rating by anybody that has significant minutes.
But
He's just,
he does have a man of the match award.
I don't know how. It must have been the time that he got sent off and he got man of the match.
Had to have been.
I would say the most surprising statistic on this entire list of Inter Miami players is the fact that he only has one red card. But yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody expected him to be a world beater when he came in. I mean, the dude was on the brink of retirement, and then they convinced him to play here, really giving the haters a lot of fuel for this to be a retirement league. So thank you very much, Inter Miami.
There you go.
Yeah, but I just think that he's just been bleh all season. So
I'll talk about somebody who's been blah all season. Have you ever heard the name Blaise Matuidi all year? Again, he belongs on Dallas because he has 17 starts. I don't think I've heard his name once all year.
Nope.
You could tell me he hasn't played all year, and I believe you. He's a Dallas player at this point.
No, that's fair. I don't hear his name. I don't hear Kieran Gibbs' name at all either.
Yeah, Gibbs is the same thing. They both belong on Dallas.
Yep.
All right. That was good. Let's move on. Top of the East. Top half of the East.
I don't know if we did this team already, but I'll say Orlando.
No, New England. I lied. It was actually top of the East, but I couldn't give it away. Your first friend.
All right. I'm going to say the best player, big surprise, is Heel. I know.
Really?
I know. I'm out here with the controversial opinions. I'm bringing the heat today. I would say he's the outright front runner for MVP right now in the league. So it's obviously the easiest choice that you can make. Oh, you know what? I'll take that back. I'll take a step back from that. I'm not gonna say it's the easiest choice because there are a few other New England players who are very good as well. But in my opinion, he's a front runner for the MVP in the league right now. In which case, there is nobody else that can be above him. Not possible.
Yeah, but he has to beat Tommy Mack, and Tommy Mack's not losing that. So Tommy Mack
has his own award. He's not the most valuable player. He is the player award for Tommy McNamara. And then most surprising, I am between two guys right now.
Pick your fighter.
I will go for, I'm going to go for this guy because I think you're going to pick the other one.
Okay.
So I will let you go with the other one. I'm going to go with Adam Buxa.
Okay.
Adam Buxa, I feel like in the past has been trying to get himself settled in here. He's gotten a couple goals here and there, I feel like. But this season, it feels like he finally planted himself and established himself. And he's got 10 goals this year so far. 10 goals and 1 assist. I just feel like he's finally taken a step forward and has really started to make a name for himself in the striker position, where that's probably not so easy because he is competing with Gustavo Bo, who's one of the best attackers in the league. Sure. So the fact that he's able to still put up 10 goals, despite the fact that Gustavo Bo has 12, I think he's, really exceeded the previous expectations and the previous level that he was at in past seasons. I think, to be honest with you, I probably would have leaned going with the other player, but I think you're going to cover him. So I'm just going to let you do that one. And if you don't,
we're on the same path there.
Yeah, I think I would probably choose the other player over Buxa, but if you don't end up picking him, I'll mention it, but I'd be shocked if you did.
Yeah. I see four people right there that I could pick as most impressive this year. And
let me see if I can guess. I'll leave out the one that I know is a for sure. But if I had to say 4, Henry Kessler, DeJuan Jones, the guy I'm not going to say because I think you'll pick him. I don't know if you had Buxa in there.
No, so mine, Henry Kessler is not actually even in that. Like Henry Kessler wasn't even in that conversation, but he's been fantastic. It was Turner, Jones, Brandon By, who was like at the start of last season, he was just bang average. And he's been one of the best defenders in the league. And then the guy I'm actually going to mention after that.
Yeah, that guy.
That guy. All right.
That guy.
Who's your least impressive?
I'm gonna say my least impressive is Wilfred Captoon. I remember he was there. I believe he was their biggest signing in the offseason. And he was coming in as a defensive midfielder for them. I kind of expected decent things from him because I think he came from, was it Betis in Spain?
Yep.
Yeah, so he was coming from a pretty reputable team. Obviously, they didn't have a huge summer, so him being the biggest signing isn't necessarily like the biggest deal, but I kind of expected more things out of him. He's got 6 starts, 9 sub appearances, and is sitting with a 6.28 rating. So I would say it's been a pretty, maybe he's still kind of getting his feet wet, kind of adjusting, but it's been a quiet season for him, and that's below what I expected for him.
Yeah. We're on the same page for almost all of them. Carlos Hill, best player, honorable mention, Gustavo Bo. Basically, they're one and the same, right? Hill's assisting Bo. But even when Hill wasn't there, you see they have a drop in ability, right? They lose to NYC. They've dropped a few points here and there without him, so you could tell how influential he is. My most impressive is obviously Tajon Buchanan. When we were prepping this 2 weeks ago, he had a 10+ mil offer out of Europe and has now been officially signed over that way. Whoa, God, where did he go to Bruges?
Yeah, Bruges.
Yeah, I thought he went to Bruges. So, yeah, that's pretty easy. If you go from being a super draft pick to a $10 million transfer, you've had a really good year. I give an honorable mention to Matt Turner. Same deal, was playing basically semi-pro soccer like a couple years ago, and now he's number 2 on the men's national team, right? Captoon was also my least impressive, right? He was supposed to be the guy to let everybody go forward. But in his defense, he is an international player and not a 4th-round draft pick. So how is Bruce Arena supposed to make him look good? He only is able to play with players who he got like 3rd round or later. So I don't blame him for that. That's not really on him.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought Buxa has been here for longer. I think he only came in last season. And he had 6-2 last season in the same amount of games. So I'm gonna take Buxa off and just put Tajon. Even though I figured Tajon anyway, but
yeah, I mean Buxa's not as surprising as we would have
not
thought,
as some of the other guys,
because the guy scores goals. He just is never in the spotlight because Gustavo scores bangers, right?
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Buxa scores tap-ins, Bo scores bangers. Same rate.
Yeah, I think Buchanan. If you go Tajon Buchanan, I'll go Brandon By. Or no, I'll go Matt Turner.
The team is
Let's
so
just
good.
put them all. Let's just put them all.
They're all most impressive.
They're all in there.
Even though I can't say anybody's really impressive because I predicted them to be this good.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah, what's up? All right, let's move on. Top half of the West.
Oh man, did we talk about this team?
I don't know. Did we?
The Loons.
It's not the Loons. You're getting cold, my friend. Real Salt Lake. My number 1 most impressive, because again I didn't prep best player because Connor sprung that on me at the last minute.
It's pretty easy.
Yeah, best player, Damir Krylak. I mean, that's not too hard. I mean, All-Star game appearance, 8 goals, 4 assists, basically the heart of their attack. Even with Rusnak having a good year, but Krylak is definitely the guy. My most impressive is Rubio Ravine. When he came in, I was kind of hyped. Thought he would be splitting more time with Bobby Wood, but has really kind of just taken that on his own. So I thought he's had a really good year, really cemented himself as that striker. Excited for him, but didn't think he'd get off to that quick of a start. So good on him. It's tough to. This one's tough to pick a worst overall player, because they've been cycling players through really frequently. Like very few people have more than 10 starts to their name. A lot of them are sub appearances or things like that. So I'm just going to go with a person that I haven't liked since the day he stepped on the field, and that's Donny Toya. I just, for whatever reason, I just never liked the way he played. I'm pretty sure he has a men's national team cap, which makes me sick. But he has what type of note did I write here?
I don't know what kind of note did you write. It's just your.
Oh, he's the fourth worst player on a team who has at.
Struggling over there.
Can you hear that?
Hear what?
There was a car alarm going off in the background, and Grace was getting upset.
No, I didn't hear it.
Oh, okay. He's the fourth worst player on anybody who has an appearance. So that's what that is. And he is the worst who has more than 8. His pass percentage is really low, down just around 70%. 0 goals, 0 assists, over 1,000 minutes played. He's been beaten like once a game. He gives up a foul a game. I just don't like the way the dude plays. I'm sorry. So that might be a bias pick. I don't know. I don't like him.
Doesn't matter if it's biased or not. It's your opinion. I'm going to say that Krylak has obviously been their best player. I'm going to say most impressive for me, just to be different, I'll pick Aaron Herrera. He's got 1 goal and 6 assists from the fullback spot in a team that I feel like, double check because I don't do my research ahead of time.
Oh, you unprofessional person.
On a team that's relatively decent defensively, I think he is been impressive. I don't know if it's enough to get him a look in for the men's national team just because he's in a spot that's so tough to break into at the right back spot. I think it looks like he can play at the left back also. I don't know if he's playing much there this season. I don't follow enough RSL to know that, but on paper, he's looked like he's had a strong year. Probably a better year than a lot of people would have expected for him. Definitely honorable mention for Rubio Ravine as well. And probably honorable mention for Ochoa also, most impressive.
Nope, he gets no honorable mentions.
Why? Because he swapped.
Snake. Because he's a snake.
We don't have room for him anyway. What does it matter? We already have the 3 goats playing in our World Cup qualifying team.
He's a snake.
Anyway, least impressive. Seeing as how I don't have beef with Donny Toya, I'm gonna pick Bobby Wood because I feel, and granted, it's still probably a bit early for him. I just think that this is a guy that was once upon a time very high up, if not the highest striker on the USMNT depth chart, and is now. Listen, laugh what you want. That's probably a true statement.
No, I'm just thinking back to a time when we were all hyped that Bobby Wood was getting minutes for like a Bundesliga team getting relegated, and we're all like, Bobby Wood.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness.
We've progressed a long way, but regardless,
we have come a bit of a way.
He is now relegated to behind Rubio Ravine as the striker with 6 starts and 6 sub appearances, getting 2 goals, 1 assist. It's, obviously those aren't end of the world stats, but for a guy that was once at that caliber of the caliber that people set him on, that's pretty disappointing. I would expect more out of him this season.
Okay. Move on.
All right.
We're staying in the top half of the West, so.
And then that must, oh God, I don't know who's left. The Loons.
It is the Loons. There you go.
Yes.
You're running out of teams, so you had to.
Just keep guessing the same team over. We'll get it right eventually.
All right, so that's you first.
All right. I hate to be taking this one off of you for first one. I will say that the Loons' best player this season, despite the fact that he hasn't lit up the box score, I'm going to still say Reynoso is their best player. I think he, despite him maybe not putting up the goals and assists that we expected from him this season, I still think he's their most important and most influential player. I think he is a big reason for the bits of success that they've had this season. And I don't think that just because he's only got like 2 goals, 3 assists, that we should discredit the other work that he does on the field. Do I think he's better than what he's shown so far this season? Yeah, definitely. I just still think he's their best player. And then for most impressive for me, I'm going to say Robin Lewd. 6 goals, 3 assists for a team. Well, now I'm starting to question myself. No, I'll stick with Robin Lewd. I think he has been very strong for them this season, especially during the times where they didn't have a striker. And I know that was something we were worried about for them at the start of the season. He kind of picked up the goal scoring responsibility for them for a while and kept them hanging around the playoff chase. So I think he's been a strong player for them this year. I want to say honorable mention for Unu as most impressive as well. I think he's starting to come into his zone here. I think he got 2 goals in the last game. I don't remember exactly. But I feel like I've been seeing his name on the score sheet a lot lately. So could see him definitely starting to break out more and grabbing that most impressive title. And then most disappointing for me, this is an easy one for me. And I'd have to check to see injuries wise, just to see what that situation is. But I'm going to go Dane Sinclair because
You're wrong, but go ahead.
I know you're going to go with Abila.
How can you say anybody isn't disappointing when you literally sign them on loan and he's so bad you have
he's not on the team anymore.
You have to send him to another team. It doesn't matter. Like, I get it, but it doesn't matter. Go ahead. Talk to me about Dwayne. Go ahead.
He if I can find that he's been injured for most of the season, that's why he's been out, then I will change it. But he came into the season, he was the starter. He took over for Tyler Miller when Tyler Miller got hurt, and he made himself the starter, and he was so good for them last year. His stock was going through the roof. He was really starting to make a name for himself. And then this season, he comes in, he's got 4 appearances where he's got a 6.07 rating. And there is literally only one player on this entire Who Scored list that is below him in rating, and that is Fernando Adi.
Who signed yesterday.
Yes. So it has been, and he's lost the starting spot back to Tyler Miller. So I think it's been a really disappointing season for a guy that I think a lot of us rated very highly after what he was capable of doing last season. And I understand you want to Ramon Abila was terrible for them. Again, I'm not going to pick him because he's not on the team anymore. So I'm going with Dane.
He has been hurt the last couple of days. Now, I wonder if he has been hurt and they just kind of announced it. It said he got hurt with an undisclosed injury on August 16th. So
that's pretty recent, though. I mean, you would have to assume otherwise that he's maybe ready to go.
What I remember is he got called up for Canadian.
Canada.
Yeah, and when he came back, Tyler Miller was just doing really well. You can't.
Still, I mean, he's got 4 appearances where he was playing, and he has a 6.07 rating.
Yeah, that was when Minnesota was in the mud.
Well, that's probably also another reason why Tyler Miller can keep his starting spot.
All right.
There's no pressure to go back to Dane if he wasn't playing well.
Sure. Are you happy?
Yes, because I'm not picking a player that's not on the team anymore.
Are you happy that you've made yourself sound that dumb?
Oh my God, just go talk about Ramon Avila. Go get your rant over with. I know how much you.
I have to tell you who's good first. Robin Lewd's the best player on this team. 6 goals, 3 assists in 1,000 minutes. Are we kidding? Man leaves he played in the Euros. He was so good, he got called up for the Euros.
He plays for Finland.
Who cares?
That's not, Reynoso could have made that Finnish team easy.
Reynoso's not Finnish. What do you mean?
I know. I'm saying if he was Finnish, he'd be on the Finland team. So I don't think.
And everybody in the United States could make that Finnish team too. But
So
they're not.
What's the argument of him playing in the Euros?
You are making yourself sound dumber than dumb today.
What is that? You can't make the argument.
You're out of your mind.
You can't make the argument that he's playing in the Euros and then say, "Oh, everybody can make the Finnish team."
That's the argument you just made. I'm just expanding it farther. Anyways. Robin Lewd, 6 goals, 3 assists in 1,000 minutes. Best player on the team. Most impressive, Franco Fragpagne. 2 goals, 3 assists in about 500 minutes. He hasn't been playing much recently. I want to know if he is injured.
Yeah, I think he's hurt.
I think he's picked up an injury, but when he was on the field, he filled in that role really nicely. It's small sample size, but it seems like he's fitting in pretty well. And yes, the least impressive player on this team, while no longer on the team, is somebody who was signed on loan from one of the biggest clubs in Argentina and was so bad, they asked to move his loan to another team. That's really bad. That's worse than going to an international tournament, having a number 2 step into your spot, and him being so good that you can't get it back. Because guess what? If Tyler Miller gets hurt and Dane goes back in the goal, I think he fills in that spot fine. Ramon Avila was so bad, instead of terminating his loan and sending him back, they just asked to move him somewhere else. That's awful.
I'm not picking a guy that's not on the team anymore.
You're out of your mind. You are out of your mind. God, it's so annoying. I feel like
stupid.
So no, and this is why it's stupidly clear. This is a team that still doesn't, outside of, they just signed Fernando Adi. They had Juan Agudelo, who has made 1 start. Justin McMaster, Hunu came in, but has had 4 appearances. Or I'm sorry, 13 appearances, 4 goals. But before Hunu was here, Ramon Avila couldn't even get on the field. He is one of the biggest strikers from one of the biggest teams in one of the biggest soccer countries in the world, and he couldn't even step on the field. That man came in and was the most underperforming individual on this team. I get he's not with the club anymore, but awful.
I'd pick him if he was still here. I'm not picking him because he's not on the team anymore.
No, shut up. You sound dumb.
Whatever you say.
You anger me.
You know he's got 2 goals and 4 appearances for DC so far?
Yeah. So I don't know what he did wrong.
Maybe it wasn't him. Maybe it was Minnesota. Maybe they just mismanaged him.
Then all right, fine. Then Minnesota's management is the most underperforming. Stop sounding dumb. Bottom of the Eastern Conference. We're moving on. I'm not done with this yet. Oh my God.
I'm looking him up right now. It doesn't seem like he had a lot of appearances the year before he joined with Boca.
I remember reading that he was like the next big thing. I don't know. I know what you're talking about because I know he didn't have a lot of appearances, but everybody writing about him was like, this dude is like the real deal. So I go with the collective mind of soccer Twitter.
He put up good numbers with Boca, but he just didn't play a lot. I mean, the most appearance. This is kind of confusing because it's split so many, like, there's a lot of different, I think those are cups. Okay. I think in the Argentinian league in 1920, he had 12 appearances. I mean,
In
like I said,
1920, God, man, how old is this dude?
he's what? In 2019, 2020?
Oh, 2019, 2020. You said 1920 as if it was the year 1920. Things were roaring.
Oh.
Flags were going everywhere.
Yes, Ramon Abila was lighting it up in the roaring 20s. He only had 12 appearances. I mean, he put up good numbers. He put up 5 goals, 1 assist, but I don't understand why he wasn't playing. I mean, the year before that, he had 16 appearances. Again,
Maybe
put up
because he
good
wasn't
numbers.
good.
But what?
Maybe because he wasn't good. But I am telling you, his lack of success here is worse than Dane Sinclair going off, playing with his national team, coming back and having somebody else already performing well in a team that had to turn themselves around while he was gone, turn themselves around, get themselves into a rhythm, and then Adrian Heath is like, you know what, I'm not messing up this rhythm. See ya.
He's not going to put in Dane when he had 4 starts this season. He put up an awful rating.
All right. You're
Dane,
wrong.
you know, Dane has a hold on. I'll check Tyler for comparison. All right, never mind.
Yeah. Now you're wrong. Because now you know you're wrong.
No, I'm not wrong, but
All right.
I was
You're
just looking at a
giving me
statistic.
chest pains. I'm done with this.
Yeah, all right, fine.
You are really bad.
I'm not even saying Dane's not capable of coming in, like you said. He could definitely come in and like get that starting role back. But I mean, we both remember Minnesota at the start of the season because we were like, oh, we proved Minnesota fans right because they were awful. And I don't think that was just because they couldn't attack. I think it was both sides of the field. And he was starting in goal during that time. And then I know he left. And then obviously Tyler Miller came in and he's been playing well. And of course, you're not going to take out Tyler to put Dane back in. But
I mean, so here's my point. Who displaced our good friend Ramon Abila? Who displaced him where he couldn't get on the field?
While he was here, it was, I think, Lewd, right? I think Lewd was playing a striker.
Yeah, a left winger was playing at striker. He could not play it. It's not good enough.
He's not on the team. I'm not picking him.
You're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. Did you pick Corey Baird for LAFC?
No, I didn't.
Because I did.
You did. I know you did. I think you're out of line for that one too. He was definitely not their least impressive player.
I'm walking away. I'm letting my dog out. Go. Grace wants you to work some cars. You are out of your mind.
If Ramon Abila was still on this team, I'd pick him. I would not argue with it. I'd pick him. But I thought of Dane so highly at the start of the season, and now he's not even playing anymore.
It is least impressive for the first half of the year. Who was associated with the team least impressive? Fine. That's all it is.
I will say Ramon Abila then. If that's how we're gonna define it, fine.
Why do
I saw it as least impressive player that's still on the team.
Why do I need to fight with you the things that are this clear? It's not that hard.
It's not that clear. Why would I pick someone that's not on the team anymore?
It's not that hard. It's really straightforward. Anyways, we're moving to the bottom half of the East. I can let you guess, or we can just move on because you're angering me.
That's what I like to do.
You're giving me anxiety.
I really hope this is New York Red Bulls so I can make you even more angry.
It is New York Red Bulls.
Let's go.
So toxic.
I can't wait to piss you off.
You're so toxic.
I could have picked stuff just to piss you off.
Oh, man. All right. So I'm going first here. This one's really funny. Who's the best player this season?
Nobody.
Yeah. I'll go Christian Kosaris. I mean, he's leading our team in goals. He got a call up to the Venezuelan national team, played in the Copa America against bigger teams, runs our midfield pretty well. I'll also give an honorable mention to Sean Davis. He's been really, really good. But his style of play is kind of funny where he'll like run around with like a chicken out of his head, make a bunch of tackles, and then just give the ball away and do it all over again. Most impressive. I'm gonna put John Tolkien here as a 19-year-old defender playing midfield. Came out of our academy, has displaced Andrew Gutman. And then when we ran out of center mids who could play the game, we put him there and he's done just as well. I will give an honorable mention to Fabio, who has been one of our better, harder working strikers. I will give an honorable mention to Carlos Cornell. I don't like the way that he has started the season, but he has found his groove, so I'll give him that. And Sean Nealis being a center back that we have not. I didn't expect him to be as good as he was. He's earned himself a new 5-year contract. He's done relatively well. I'm happy with it. I think he's been very good. Now let's talk about
Least impressive.
There's a long list. So I'll start with my honorable mentions. My honorable mentions, Frankie Amaya came over with a little bit of hype and has been bang average. Drew Yearwood is a designated player, and he's played more for Red Bull 2 than he has played for us. Tom Barlow should not be allowed to step on a professional soccer field ever again. He is just so bad. I really, really hate watching him play. Other honorable mention for most impressive, Tom Edwards. He's been thrown all over the place on the field and has done very well. My least impressive player is Kaden Clark. Kaden Clark, for a guy who has apparently secured a Bundesliga move already, has looked like a bang average MLS player. He had that appendix injury, got surgery, was out a little bit. But ever since he's come back, he's been slow to get up to speed. And this is a tough one because he has nobody around him. Like, you can tell, like, his brain is there, but nobody's really helping him out. So he might look a lot worse than he actually is. But just for a guy who's going to make a move to a top 3 Bundesliga team next year, I thought he'd be bossing this league. Yeah, I'm going to do that.
I've been waiting patiently. I can't wait to piss you off.
I'm excited to see what you say, because listen, you can say anybody is the least impressive player outside of, like, man, you could say anybody. You probably have a case for all of them. They've all been awful this year.
All right, best player, Patrick Lamala. Most impressive, Kaden Clark.
Mm-hmm.
All right, no, I'm not gonna do that. I was hoping to get a rise out of you.
I'll wait for your real ones.
All right. Best player, I'll agree with you. I think Kosaris.
Yeah.
I'm tempted to almost go with him as most impressive too, but I want to go Fabio for most impressive. The fact that he has 6 assists with the players that are around him, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
so
that's fair.
I just think he's been, he's got 9 goal contributions on Who Scored, which is he could potentially even have more according to MLS. But that's a pretty impressive stat for a team that's been as disappointing as Red Bull. I think so. For least impressive, I think you've done Kaden pretty dirty to say he's the most least impressive player.
Yeah. As I was speaking about it and looking through the rest of the players, it definitely sounded harsh. But I think a player who's going to be in the Bundesliga next season, playing for one of the top teams there, needed to be better. So that's
here's my thought. My thought is Kane started the season and he blew up. He was on fire, tearing the league apart. Then he got hurt. My thinking now is that he's afraid to get hurt again before his move, so he's just playing it safe for the rest of the season. That's my thought. You would be able to tell better from watching, but that's what I would think if he's tailed off after getting the injury.
I don't think he's afraid. I think he's just took a step back.
And maybe he just doesn't need to push himself as much
He's
anymore.
rolling. He's rolling through and picking back up where he left off, but again, he's got nobody around him. So you're right. I think it's a little. I've done him a little dirty, but again, I think I hold him to a higher standard than I hold.
No, it's fair. I mean, that's the
Frankie,
point.
right?
That's the point of that whole category that we're picking of. Is like it's the person that's least met your expectations.
Sure.
And then for me, least impressive. This was an easy one for me. Drew Yearwood. The fact that this guy's a designated player is unreal to me. I don't know why Red Bull signed a guy that was playing. I mean, I know he was with Brentford. I think if I remember right, he didn't really play at all with Brentford. He was really playing in like League One. And Red Bull signed him as a designated player. That's wild to me. And I think
A young designated player. Young designated.
Okay, fine. Young designated player. Regardless, he's been League One quality, I feel like, in this league. And like you said, he's mainly been playing with the second team. He can't even get into the first team at all. Like not even on the bench, it sounds like. So I mean that's like
Go ahead.
It gives me shades of Thomas Chacon. Not
Sure.
obviously to that level, but I mean sounds like it's been really disappointing.
Yeah, he's been really bad. Grace is losing her mind out there. Goodness.
We could pause if you want to take care of her.
She'll be fine.
Okay.
No, I agree. I think Drew Yearwood's been really bad. Cameron Harper is another one. A guy who we signed from Celtic with Lamala, who was supposed to like come in. He's had 5 sub appearances, and one of those appearances he got subbed on and subbed directly off. Like I think he played 4 or 5 minutes. It was
the system. Trust the system.
It was a catastrophe. He played 2 minutes against Toronto. Was it against Philly that he played? I got to figure out. I'll look it up real quick. But it was a catastrophe. And everybody's asking, like, why'd you take him off? And he just straight up was like, yeah, he wasn't really up to the task. He doesn't really know what he's doing out there. And they just slated him.
How are you supposed to even know when you're playing 5 minutes?
What's I mean? Hold on, let me see. No, it wasn't that one either. I wonder if it wasn't the MLS game. It was no. He's only played in 5 MLS games. So this one,
Was it the Rebs?
it might have been the Revs game. No, it wasn't. It was against New England. He came on the 59th and then came off in the 85th. And he just straight up was like, "Yeah, you're not that good." That's basically what he told him. He was like, "God."
Yeah, I mean that's awful. I'm just looking at that now.
It was really bad. Listen, so it was tough to pick a underperforming player on an entire team that's been underperforming. But he's my shout. They're all really bad. Let's just go with that.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, you really couldn't get me agitated with that because anybody you said outside of like 1 or 2 players, you have a case. So, all right, let's move on. That team's depressing. Bottom half of the West.
Oh boy, who's left bottom half of the West? I think we talked about that team and that team and that team. It's got to be Vancouver then.
It is Vancouver, correct?
All right. It is my turn.
It is. I'm waiting.
I am going to say that Vancouver's best player is Christian Dejome.
I'm cool with that.
8 goals, 3 assists this season. Really has been, anytime I really see anything with Vancouver, I see him associated. I think he's had a really strong season. I think he has been very impressive. I think if this team is to get into the playoffs, I think he will be a big part of that. And I think that he can be like a good. No, I get nothing really else to say. I just think that he's had a very impressive season. And then most impressive for me, I'll go with Ryan Gauld.
No, you wanted to say Brian White. I heard the B.
No,
I heard the B.
no Brian White. Granted, Brian White has been pretty good for Vancouver.
He really has.
So, but I'll say Ryan. He's got 1 start, 4 sub appearances, and he's got 2 goals and 2 assists already. I mean, that's ridiculous. 2 goals, 2 assists in 209 minutes. That's insane. I mean, this is a guy that I remember having huge potential at one point in Europe, and then he tailed off, and I stopped hearing about him. And then, obviously, I heard about him again when he signed with Vancouver. Kind of didn't know what to expect, but obviously it's turning out to be a really good flyer that Vancouver took, and it seems like he's starting to show some of that potential again. It's great to see him doing well for this team, and I think it's been above the expectations that I had when I first saw that he was on the team. And then least impressive for me, this is a tough one. I'll say Bruno Gaspar.
Okay.
Seeing as how he has only made, and I will double check that he hasn't had any injuries, and that's the reason why. But he has only 3 starts and 4 sub appearances for the team with a 6.18 rating. I figured this was the guy that I know that there was going to be obviously competition at the right back spot because they have Jake Nowinski. But this is a guy that I thought would be able to win that position and be the starter for them. And it seems like that's not the case. So seeing as how my expectation was that he was going to start for the team, and in reality, during this season, he's barely played at all. So he's going to be my least impressive.
Once again, really wrong on so many levels. You can't pick Bruno Gaspar because we share a birthday, so that's illegal.
Come on, tell me. Go ahead. Tell me Ali Adnan. Tell me Ali Adnan, the guy who hasn't been on the team in like a month.
I won't pick that one because he never actually played. That's the difference. He has not played.
Did Ramon Abila actually play for Minnesota? Did
He has
really?
10 appearances for them, 1 start and 9 sub appearances.
Show me a picture. He might as well play for FC Dallas.
Go look at it. I'm not doing this. The best player is obviously Brian White. That is clear as day. Obviously
the fact that you almost have an argument.
Right, how terrifying is that? No, so my best player is DeJome, right? I agree with you. 8 goals, 3 assists, and just under 1,700 minutes is nice. That's real nice. I put him as most impressive as well. But again, I had such low expectations for this team. Everybody has impressed me. But I will actually go most impressive Brian White. He's actually finding his stride a little bit. And I don't know if those 4 goals are from when he was in well, he didn't play for Red Bull. So that he scored 4 goals in just under 1,000 minutes for Vancouver. He seems to really have fit in pretty well there. Which is really good for him. I'm happy to see him succeeding while my team does not. And then you actually are wrong on the least impressive. Do you remember when Vancouver broke the transfer record for a day before?
Yeah, I thought about picking him too.
What's his face was signed? They bought this guy Alexandria for what? 15 million? Did they drop 15 million on this guy? And I haven't heard his name once. I get it. He's more of a defensive midfielder and a holding midfielder, but he's been awful. Of anybody who has 10 plus starts, he's been awful.
So I just want to give you a little context. They paid $4 million for him.
Wait, what? I feel like I saw something like it was mad money.
No.
Oh, you know what it is? I think he's like the number 15 most expensive signing. That might be where that number came from. I remember there was a list.
Like salary wise?
Like transfer record wise.
He is on Transfer Market, he's ranked 46th.
No, there's some. Grace is losing her mind. Goodness me. I'll see where I can find it on the list because I'm pretty sure he was like number 10 or 15 on the most expensive signings ever. Because there was a list of like teams that have made the most expensive signing. Like Atlanta had 4 of the top 20, like Red Bull had none, NYC had like 3, and Vancouver was in there, and it was this guy. I'll look it up. But yeah, he's just been bang average for a guy that I thought was going to come in and be really good. Now, granted, they haven't lost in the last 7 games, so like good on them. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games. So they've been undefeated in 9 games. So I'll give them that. They've been playing well, but he's also now out with a foot injury. So from this game forward, we're going to be able to see really what they've got going on without him to see if he really was making that thing. But I haven't heard his name once, and I'm almost certain he's like up there in transfer value. So let me just double check it here. But
yeah, see if you can find it. If you find like a high transfer value for him, then I'd definitely consider swapping that as well. But I just think the fact that, and I'm just going to double check right now on the injury stuff, but let me check. Transfer Market has nothing for Bruno Gaspar.
no,
my
he's healthy.
only thing for him is just the fact that he hasn't played at all. I mean, even Alexander's still got some game time. I mean, Bruno Gaspar's got 7 appearances the whole year in 273 minutes. Like he can't even get on the field at all. But I get it because Alexander I think is a designated player for them, so that probably adds a little bit more of a higher expectation.
Yes, yeah.
I was definitely between the two of them, so like I 100% don't disagree with your choice.
I believe I sent it to the podcast.
I feel like I remember.
You remember seeing this. Yeah, we've seen
but I don't remember him being on there. It was 2 weird teams, but I thought it was maybe FCC.
No, FCC was there.
Okay.
But they were right behind him.
Maybe it was like a certain transfer window.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing him anywhere. Can't believe PT Martinez is the most expensive MLS.
Yeah. Okay, so I got to go back to the beginning of the season.
It's not even the highest fee in Vancouver history.
Where did I see that then? All right. Anyways, we've been waffling on this too long, so yeah, we'll find it again. But yeah, I can't find it. But there was something that came in that said they had signed some. Anyways, we'll just move on. Yeah, he's my guy. I think he's just been really bad. I'm gonna get Grace in real quick. Hold on.
All right.
Diego Rossi flying to Turkey tomorrow to complete his move to Fenerbahce.
Oh, wait. I thought they said an American attacker.
Maybe an MLS attacker, but yeah, Vancouver. He was their big signing of the year. Everybody made a big hype about him. non-existent.
Sure.
Shall we move on
We move on.
to the top half of the East?
Is it Orlando?
Nope, it is not. It is Montreal.
CF Montreal.
Is it me first? It's me first, isn't it?
It is you first.
I will say that they're hold on. I will say their most impressive player for me right now has been Mason Toy.
So we'll get Adam on the phone. He'll be very excited.
Yep. Leading goal scorer, really good start to the year. He's fallen off just a little bit, but in terms of what I thought he was going to be for a team that I thought was going to be this way, he's been my most impressive player. Was that 7 goals in just under 900 minutes? Best player. Actually, no, I'll put him as my best player. My most impressive player is Joaquin Torres, coming in to be that kind of like creative winger spot. I think he's been really good. When we played against them a couple weeks ago, he was fantastic. He was so solid. So really impressed with that one. 3 goals, 4 assists in just under about 900 minutes. He's been pretty solid. I want to say Jordy, but I feel like that's too easy. And I know you're going to pick him anyway. So just for the variety, if you will. And then underperforming is another tough one. I'll go ahead and say Lapalainen just because we've been hoping for him to break out forever and a day, and he hasn't done it. So 7 starts, 500 minutes, 1 assist only. That's kind of rough.
That is pretty rough. Also, just found out. I know that defender that you hate that's on Montreal. I'll give you the credit if you want to say his name.
Nope, I don't want to talk about him.
Okay, he who shall not be named. Had no idea he was a designated player.
What?
He's a designated. At least
No.
Wikipedia has him as a designated player.
No, that can't be.
Maybe it's wrong, but I implore you to do a little research and find out.
I'm working on it. You can go ahead and talk about it.
All right, yeah, I will do that. Yes, you are correct. I'm going to pick Jordy Mahilovic as the best player on this team.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
I think it's deserved. 4 goals, 7 assists. He's really broken out here. And honestly, I'm really glad he got this move because I feel like he could have been kind of stuck in a lackluster Chicago team. So I'm glad he got this move where he could be the focal point for this Montreal attack. Most impressive Mason Toy. Someone get Adam on the phone again. 7 goals in 895 minutes. Very above what we probably expected for him, seeing as how he was sparse for minutes. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it felt like he was sparse for minutes in the last couple of seasons. Now he's got some game time. He's got some good players around him, and he's getting the goals. So good on him. Least impressive. Yeah, it's almost impossible. Yeah, it's really tough to pick for this team. I'll say Lapalainen as well. Pretty much for the same reasons.
Matt's got to stop blowing up our freaking group chat.
Did you find out anything on?
I'm looking at it.
I wish MLS would post.
Yeah, they should, shouldn't they? This list that was posted on May 13th lists the Montreal Impact as having. Wait, did I go past it? Just Victor Wanyama. So it's not. I don't know where they got their information from, but
Yeah, somebody's wrong.
I really hope it's this feels a little old though. If I go to Houston,
It also has Jordy as a designated player.
yeah, I don't think that's I wouldn't trust this Wikipedia. Bro, you know what we can do? Why are we can just go to the club website and figure that out.
Well, they said.
Let's just go to Montreal.
Is it going to be all in French?
That's all right.
Have you brushed up on your French?
Yes, I have.
All right, good.
Oui.
Oof. All right.
Okay,
Don't know what any of these words mean. Oh, there's an option at the top for English. Let's go. So what do we look for? Players?
Yeah, if I go to club.
I don't see roster. Club. That makes sense.
Yes.
This is all still in French. Can we get English, please?
Mine's still in English. Okay. So you would go to. I don't like the way they've set this up, by the way. This is really not cool.
It's really not cash money.
So if I were to go to somebody like Victor Wanyama and click on Victor Wanyama, we come back and say that he is a designated player. So if I go to click on Kike Struna.
Is it the player category?
Are you still looking for it?
No, I'm saying like where you saw it says designated player.
Category and workforce senior. He's not a designated player. Whoever did that is playing a mean, sick joke. And
I thought it was pretty funny.
Probably should be put in jail, but that's just me. Montreal done?
Okay, Montreal done.
Okay, top half of the East. We're staying there.
Orlando City.
Correct.
Let's go.
All right, you're first.
Okay, so I will say that Orlando's best player, surprise, it's Nani.
Who?
Nani.
Who?
Nani.
All right, stop that.
Just kidding, Rodrigo Schlegel. He will always be their best player forever and ever. Nani, obviously, face of their team, best player on their team, not even a question. 9 goals, 6 assists, 8 man of the matches. He has a 0.7 higher rated who score value than the second best player on their team. He's just been so good since he joined the league and has not stopped this season. I'm going to say that the most impressive is, oh, goodness gracious, Kyle Smith.
A good one.
I think that in a back line of Antonio Carlos, Ruan, Robin Janssen, I think it's easy to lose track of Kyle Smith being a part of that back line and what he has been able to do for them. He's very highly rated on this list. I think expectations for him, seeing as how he probably gets outshined name-wise by the rest of the back line, were probably pretty low. And I think he's had a very strong season. I believe he has the most starts on the team as well, a team that's in second place. Definitely something that we shouldn't discredit. So definitely most impressive for me. Least impressive, man, kind of tough. There's been a lot of injuries.
Yeah, that's what made this tough. You didn't want to.
Yeah.
You didn't want to put somebody like Alexander Pato is the standout, but he hasn't played.
Right, and I would say the same thing for DK. He obviously
he hasn't even been there.
He wasn't there, and then now that he's back, he's hurt.
Right.
I'll say João Matinho has been their least impressive because I thought he was their starting left back at the start of the season. And then I think, I don't know their situation right now because it looks like Ruan has 8 starts and 3 sub appearances. So I got to imagine he got hurt at some point.
I'm going to look it up right now.
I figured he was the starting left back to go into the season. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he was playing left back for them last season. I know they didn't have a lot of choices, but
yeah, he picked up an injury.
Ruan.
John Matinho.
He got an injury.
Yeah, he hurt his groin and he missed 24 games from August this time last year to April. So at the beginning of the season. So he didn't start for them, but
okay. So I got to imagine that Kyle Smith probably has been like flipping left back, right back, depending on when Matinho and Ruan have been out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to swap it then. I'm going to say Oriol Resell. Seeing as how he's only got 5 starts, 5 sub appearances. For a guy that I figured was in the conversation for the midfield, I know that's a strong position for them because they have Perea, they have Junior Urso, they have Mendez. So it's definitely a tough position to break into. But I thought he was a part of the conversation. I thought he could have gotten more game time, but seeing as how he only has 5 starts, 5 sub appearances, again, I'll double check to see if he has injuries and that's what's keeping him out. But I imagine if he's not injured and he's not getting the game time, that means he's probably got himself knocked down lower on the depth chart. Again, not the highest expectations for him ahead of the season, seeing as how it is a tough position to break into. But I think I probably would have had a little bit higher expectations for him. It's tough for this Orlando team because, like we said, there's a lot of injuries, and the team has been very good this year. So it's tough to pick someone who's been least impressive. But I would say him, honorable mention, Vanderwater.
Sure. So that's kind of where I was going with it. I went with Nani, obviously is the best player. Numbers don't lie. I put Antonio Carlos as the most impressive player.
That's a good one.
You know, like I said, just the jump. I feel like he had a good year last year, but he's made even more of a jump this year. You know, he's really solidified being the number 2 next to Janssen. I think he's been really good. And then Vanderwater was my other one. Again, it's tough to pick a underperforming player in a team that's doing this well, but he was brought in for some attacking support and hasn't really got on the field. So there wasn't really anybody bad per se. You know, 2 goals, 2 assists in the time that he's got. But I was hoping for a little bit more spark out of him. That's all.
Yeah, I think that's pretty spot on.
Yeah. 2 teams left. We're going to go to the bottom of the East for this one.
Who's left? Chicago Fire.
Chicago Fire, winless and 19 away from home until Red Bull happens. God, I hate that team. I hate them so much. I hate that I love them. That's it. That's the issue. I hate that I love them.
You're up first.
I am up first.
Take it away.
I will do whatever I want. Thank you.
All right.
Best player for me, and also my most surprising or most impressive, Luka Stojanovic. Starts off the year like an animal. He's got 7 goals and an assist in just under 1,100 minutes right now. He starts off really hot. Chicago Fire don't start off hot. Head coach makes a formation change. He gets dropped, comes back against the Red Bulls, scores a brace and gets player of the week, and then hasn't missed a step since. Chicago's been disappointing, but he's been pretty good. Underperforming Wyatt Omsberg. Just looks not good in that back line. Every time I see Chicago giving up a goal, he's either getting beat or he's in the wrong position. And for a guy, they obviously put some trust in him. He's got 8 starts and 5 sub appearances when Kapahoff isn't healthy, or Tehran isn't healthy. They rotated him in for a long time. He was their starter. So he's just been not good.
Yeah. I'm going to slightly switch up the good ones. I'm going to say Luka Stojanovic is definitely most impressive. Really didn't know much about him at the start of the season at all. And he's been 7 goals, 1 assist. I mean, he's been really, really good for them. Just to be a little bit different, I'm going to say best player is Madron. I think he is very influential for them. despite the fact that he probably gets played a bit deeper than a more creative role, which I personally would like to see him in. I think he's definitely their most talented player. He's got 1 goal, 5 assists this year. It definitely obviously can make the argument for Stojanovic being top player, but again, just to be a little different, I'll go Madron.
Sure.
And for me, least impressive, this one was easy for me. Robert Baric is just 1,500 minutes and he's got 3 goals in the year. This is a guy that I feel like I saw as a top 5 striker in the league at the start of the season, and he's just had a miserable year. And I get he doesn't have the best talent in the world around him, but
no service, right?
But Stojanovic has 7 goals. He's more than doubled Baric's goal total.
Yeah, because he's not passing the ball; he's just finding it and shooting it.
But he's got Madron. He's got 5 assists. Sikulic has 4 assists. So I mean, there is service. He's just not scoring. Granted, I'm not going to say he's good service or he's a lot of service, but
sure.
There's
I think
some
you put Baric on Minnesota, he scores 15 goals.
Yeah, maybe.
You put Baric on Finland, he's starting.
That's not saying much. Yeah,
it seems like we got a new reference that people aren't going to understand, but that's cool.
I think Baric has had a really rough year for a guy that I feel like was someone I saw possibly being around the Golden Boot running at the end of the season. So he is definitely my least impressive.
Okay, I'm cool with it. There's only one team left. We should finish it up.
I don't even remember what team it would be.
It's top of the West, if that helps you.
I think we talked about them. We talked about them. We talked about them. It's probably them. Yeah, it's got to be the Rapids then, right?
No, it's Sporting KC.
Oh, I thought we talked about Sporting KC.
No, we did the Rapids last week. Cole Bassett is mine, and Jonathan Lewis is way too easy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
okay.
Right, you start off then, friend. Go right ahead.
All right. Easy one for me. Best and most impressive player is going to be Daniel Shallowy.
Yep.
12 goals, 5 assists. He probably even has more on MLS.
Yeah, probably more assists, right?
Yeah, I think assists that they have the second assist they count. He's just been so phenomenal this year.
Yeah.
And like you said, kind of out of nowhere. I mean, I'm sure Sporting KC fans might have seen it coming, probably knowing the player a little bit better, but it's just he's absolutely broken out big time this season. He's been phenomenal for them. Easy choice for best and most impressive.
I want to say before we move on, first off,
yeah.
the thing that is most impressive about him is that he is born in Hungary, and Sporting KC have still found a way to make him a homegrown player. That's really cool. What's even more impressive, he got 12 goals, 6 assists right now, or however many he's got. He didn't have a single goal. He played 9 times last year, and he had 0 goals. He played 28 times in 2019, scored 1 goal. He just is blown up this year.
So search really quick.
He had 14 goals in 2018 over 33 appearances, and 8 assists in that span as well. So this is kind of like his 3rd year revival, but really impressive. Man's born all the way across the in a different continent, and he's still a homegrown player.
You'll be happy to know for your Robin Lewd argument that he was not at the Euros this year.
Daniel Shallowy?
He was not at the Euros.
Oh, I knew. Yeah, I could have told you that.
Least impressive. Who is the least impressive?
There are a few of them in there, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, I think I could. Overall, this is a very good team. There's definitely. I see a couple as well.
Me too. Pick your favorite.
Just because I'm uncertain on if these other guys are injured or not, I'm gonna go with Remy Walter.
Okay. I'm cool with that one. That's not a bad one.
I think I don't remember how much he came in for. I feel like it was solid money. Like, I don't think it was super cheap. I will do the research as I talk, but I remember this guy back when he was playing in France for a little while. Definitely remember him having a little bit of potential. And then obviously seeing his name come up here with Sporting KC, it felt like it was a move for him to kind of rebound from falling out of the French league. And he has stepped in and put up a 6.5 rating, including a red card, no goals or assists. Not that I would expect him to have a lot there because I know he plays more so in the midfield, but I just think that he's had 13 starts, 4 sub appearances, so he's getting game time. I just don't think he's really been that influential for them when he's been on the field. And then my two, I think, honorable mentions, I see Amadou Dia down there, and Roberto Puncec. But they have so little appearances. I didn't know whether or not they were hurt. So I didn't want to pick them without knowing for sure.
So my best player, most impressive player matches yours. So I'm cool with that. But on mine, I have Puncec for the memes, because that's just a meme.
Wait, was it Puncec that Adam put in the top?
That Adam 10? Put like number 5, yeah. So Puncec for the memes. But in reality, when John Pulskamp, the goalkeeper who filled in for Melia when he got hurt, he was supposed to be. This was a test to see if he could be the next guy up. Melia's 35, and for anybody who watches the podcast, say it with me, wrong side of 30. You didn't say it with me, but that's cool.
That doesn't apply for goalkeepers. They're all wrong side of 30.
But no, 35, he's not going to be there forever, right? So, this was a chance for him to put his foot down and really make a shout for being the next guy up. And in 5 games, he went 1, 2, and 2, I think. What was the other game that he played? Latest matches. Yeah, he beat Red Bull, which isn't impressive. He tied Orlando, lost to RSL, beat Austin, and lost to Houston. So 2, 1, and 2. But he conceded 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 goals, and didn't look particularly phenomenal, which is I was kind of hoping he would, simply because when Melia goes, Melia had a cool story, right? He sat behind Jimmy Nielsen for years, and had to wait for his turn. So I was hoping that when it was his time to go, somebody else would fill that role as well, and he didn't. So, but yeah, Puncec for the memes. Pulskamp's my actual pick. Ismiat Marine also fits that role. I think he's been, for a guy that has the CV that he does, I think he probably should have slid in really easily. And he didn't. I don't even think he's playing anymore. Yeah, it's Illy Sanchez playing center back. So when you're that bad, where you can't get on the field because a center defensive mid is filling in for you, that's not great. So I'll put them as co-bad. Ismiat Marine and Pulskamp, because he's still got room to grow. Pulskamp. Ismiat Marine's just bad. Yeah.
But we all know the real answer is Puncec for the memes.
For the memes. No injuries.
Nope, I looked that up. No injuries, which means he's only made 3 appearances.
My guy, when he was making that episode, just did this. There it is. But that's it. That is our second half of the most impressive, least impressive, best players of the first half of the 2021 MLS season, which Connor will clean up and make the title look all good, because that's too many words. Let us know what you think. We're going to post the videos. We're going to post the clips. We're going to post the TikToks. You got a comment. Let us know. Make sure you're following us everywhere, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. I really don't use Instagram anymore. I got to be better about that. YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, all the good stuff. Just look up our name. We'll be there. Make sure you're following us wherever you get your podcasts so you know when we go live and when we drop things off. Make sure you are subscribed to us on all the streaming places too, because we stream every once in a while, which is a lot of fun. And other than that, I got nothing to add. You got anything to add?
Nope.
All right, y'all. Thanks for watching or listening to another episode of the Designated Players Podcast, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.